I played Emily Wants to Play. Emily Wants to Play is a lesson in the dangers of door dashing. You play as a delivery person tasked with taking a pizza to an abandoned home. You knock on the door, and in a moment of, "Where is your brain?" when no one answers, we decide to walk right on in. That's a proper way to get shot in this day and age. Upon entering the home, we notice there are boxes and furniture strewn about, and it seems as if someone was in the process of moving and maybe decided to leave. Don't worry though, we are not alone. Soon, we are introduced to 3 of the 4 main antagonists. Marvel as we meet up with Captain Spaulding, Slappy, and an error that has existed in the game since 2023. The 4th, as you may have guessed, is Emily, and she wants to play. Instead of door dashing, we now have the arduous task of babysitting an undead 10-year-old and her demonic dolls. Guess whose parents won't be adding to the tip this night? Well, how do we do that? We have 5 hours to play games with her. Remember, every horror game, at some point, now turns into Five Nights at Freddy's. While wandering through the home, we find a hole and immediately die. This is going to be a very fun game. While wandering through the house, we find audio recorders. Apparently, Emily's mother left voice recorders all over the place because she didn't know about this thing called tapes. Instead, she'd record 10 to 15 seconds of dialogue and then buy a new one. Emily's parents were either rich or stupid, probably both. And is it just me, or does the mother sound either tired, uninterested, or potentially given no direction as to how she should sound, because who cares when you're making a game like this good when Markiplier or game theory will drive the sales for you? Probably all 3. Anyway, it's midnight now, and what do? Emily wants to play a game with us, and the first game is straight out of Squid Game, as we're playing some form of 1, 2, 3 red light, or maybe peekaboo, and we're doing so with a Hot Topic doll. Too bad we can't shoot her for moving. That would make this game 5 stars in my eyes. Well, at least the game isn't crashing because of her mere presence. That's at least one positive. Just stare at her as if you had never seen someone inside of a Hot Topic before, and the hour will be over before you know it. The clock then strikes 1, and it looks like Captain Spaulding wants to play, and honestly, I need to stop calling him that, as it's a bit of an affront to Sid Haig. Come to think of it, he looks more like the big-headed jerk from Twisted Metal. You know the one. Not Sweet Tooth, but he did all the talking for Sweet Tooth. He looked like he would topple over at a stiff breeze. I wonder what his gimmick is. Okay, so it's, I guess, 1, 2, 3 red light, but instead of you being the one who looks, you can't move whenever he says or does something. Well, maybe I can look. No, that's a bad idea too. What if I clicked on the flag? That's a bad idea too. What can I say except just stand still for the next hour? I mean, literally, there's no reason for you to move. So take your hand off the mouse, take your hand off the keyboard, put down the controller, and set your mind at ease. That's all you've got to do. Soon enough, the next hour comes, and Slappy enters the fray. And he wants to play tag at 2. You hear him laugh, and just walk over to the next room. Literally, all you have to do is stand in the living room at the very edge. When you hear him laugh, press the left button to enter into the dining room. Get yourself to the very edge. When you hear him laugh, press the right button to strafe on into the living room. Basically, just listen to the cha-cha slide. His laugh is the slide to the left. slide to the right, and you'll be crisscrossing your way into hour 4, or rather hour 3. And at 3, you gotta face all 3 of them. And that's where this game's big problem comes into play. The difficulty isn't because this is actually challenging, you're at the mercy of the random number generator. There's nothing fun about hearing Slappy start laughing while you're being forced to stand still for the clown. This happens way too often and will leave you wanting to destroy this game. Eventually, through sheer dumb luck, you can win this. Now, it's 4 o'clock, and Emily gets to play. The first rule is, don't turn on the lights. That's going to send Emily into a feral frenzy. She's at an age where she feels self-conscious about her complexion. Gray doesn't really look good on a person. Her teeth, if you haven't seen them, looks like she's been chewing on a brick for the past 3 years. And basically you're playing hide and seek and timeout with her. Why? Because you've got to find Emily. She is hidden somewhere in the house. And you gotta find where she's gone. More often than not, though, she'll be standing in the corner of a room, probably thinking about what she's done. And you've got a timer, meaning that if you don't find her by the time, you die. Well, what do you do when you find her? Just wait until you've got about 2 seconds left on the timer, and then tag her, and then find her, and wait till 2 seconds are left, and then tag her. Why? Why work harder when you can work smarter? I mean, really? Again, this should be somewhat of a breeze. When the clock strikes 5... Oh, no. No. You've got to find Emily again while dealing with the random number generator. The clown, the goth, the slapper, they're all back. And again, the problem is that sometimes they cheat. The goth will at times teleport through walls. Slappy will enter into multiple rooms. And Spaulding may attack you even when you don't move. The only one who seems to play fairly is Emily, so I guess that's a positive? But again, you're going to find yourself very aggravated because the real culprit here is the random number generator. And while I've seen multiple videos of people beating this section, with ease, I really think you've got to have good RNG to pull this off consistently, and I never got so lucky. Finally, 6 a.m. comes and cue the children. You have 2 options at this point. The front door opens, and you can leave. Or, if you had a lot of fun, you can stay behind, and Emily will play with you forever. Yeah, no, we're leaving here right now. And we wind up in an asylum, which makes a lot of sense because, let's be honest, you've got a demonic girl, a bunch of deadly dolls, you just barely survived. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But at least we don't have to do this again. There's a second game? Okay, I guess we'll get to that eventually.